When you look at the numbers, 13 million albums sold, 8 number one hits, and more than 40 chart singles, Tracy Lawrence has had the kind of music career most people only dream about. But his life has had its ups and downs, and today he'll share what he's learned navigating the waves of life as an artist in the spotlight. Welcome to Lifestyle Magazine.
This is Lifestyle Magazine with your hosts, Lionel LaMountain and Mike Tucker.
We are joined today by country music legend, Tracy Lawrence. Tracy, welcome to Lifestyle Magazine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. You got started with music at an early age, didn't you?
I did. You know, some of my earliest memories were like of Glenn Campbell and Charlie Pride when I was 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
The Glenn Campbell Big Time Variety show was really popular on TV, and I remember I would part my hair like Glenn Campbell. And, you know, being a little blonde-headed, blue-eyed little boy from you know, from where I came from, it was really cool. And then when my mother remarried when I was very young, we moved to Southwest Arkansas, and Glenn was from not really far up the road from Delight, Arkansas. And so I had a pretty strong connection to that with him, and I followed him for a long time. So very early country music roots for me.
What influence did he have on you becoming a musician and the kind of music you do?
I think a lot, but there were a lot of other people mixed in with that whole thing. Glenn was just kind of one of the early people. Strange enough, the first band that I was ever with was based out of Delight, Arkansas, which was where Glenn was from. And I remember going to rehearsals there when I was, you know, a teenager in high school and on into college. So, but there were a lot of other people along the way. You know, a couple of the really big ones for me. Merle Haggard was a huge influence on me. George Strait was a huge influence on me. George Strait was just coming out in the early 80s when I really started getting the bug and realized that I had a voice and that it was something different.
Country music has changed over the last few years, if you ask me, and you've got some songs that, to me, are kind of a throwback to what you used to be. Birmingham, Paint Me a Birmingham, and If the World Had a Front Porch. Well, tell me about those songs. Why do you do this?
You know, I think looking at country music as a whole, to me, the format was always kind of a reflection of society and what was going on in culture and things around. At least for me, I thought that it was very diverse. You know, it wasn't just about crying in your beer, cheating songs, honky-tonkin' stuff. There was a lot of tapestry about, you know, everyday life. It was down home. It was, you know, walking down the dirt road next to the picket fence. It was sitting on the front porch with your granddaddy. It was, you know, doing everyday things. It was the normalcy and the mundane of things in life, but being able, as a songwriter, to use those words to paint that tapestry into music is a very special art to me, and I really like finding those songs that can paint pictures out of words.
I think that's why people love country music so much.
I think so too.
In the past, it really has brought meaning and perspective to life, don't you think?
And it seems like we've kind of gone down a road over the last several years. I think we're coming out of it.
Good.
But I think we've gone down a road where it got very shallow and very uninspiring to me, where it was just all a bunch of party stuff, and it was very skewed toward a very young generation that didn't have a lot of depth to it. And I miss country music that has meat to it, that has some moral message or something about life or something that's happening in our society. I think those things are the constant thread that has to remain in country music for it to continue to be viable. I think when we lose that, it's kind of lost. It
I was watching your song, Find Out Who Your Friends Are, which is really, I like that song and the message. Something special happened with that song that maybe people don't know.
That was very special. I was the first artist to have a #1 record on an independently self-owned label.
That's amazing.
Nobody had ever done that before.
Wow.
And I think it kind of shook the industry up quite a bit. I've been a student of this business for a long time. I had a pretty natural grasp of a lot of it when I came here, but I also had a lot of really good mentors around me from a young introduction into the music industry. And I came from a place where I knew nobody that had ever done anything like this. I just fell in with some really old salty guys that were very wise, that had done radio promotion, guys that had worked with Elvis, people that had worked with all of my heroes over the years. And I, you know, as I fell into the management side of it and had my own label imprints and publishing companies and different things, as I evolved through the years, I got a grasp of how the machine worked. And I think we were able to find out who your friends are and do something with it that nobody expected me to be able to do.
Yeah.
And it shook the label to its foundation, and I saw a lot of criteria change behind it. Criteria for the award shows, criteria for getting things played on radio. The gatekeepers closed some things down behind that record after
Is
it
that
peaked
right?
out. Oh yeah.
It frightened them.
It scared them. They didn't like it. People got fired over that song.
Of all things.
Oh yes.
Now, what your feeling about country music and its roots and what it should be about, is that part of the reason why you have your own radio show now?
And a lot to do with it. Over the last several years, during this period that we were talking about a while ago, where music had gotten a little bit shallow, I just felt like that there were so many people that I was coming in contact with out on the road. The common thing that I was hearing from everybody is how much they missed the music from that era.
Absolutely.
And I realized that it wasn't just coming to me, that my peers, a lot of other people were hearing it too. And I realized that they weren't hearing it on radio very much either. And I thought that it would be a good way to do something that could get me back in front of people and also showcase the music that I felt was so important to my generation. I mean, the music that inspired me, and also the musical era that I was a part of. And I think it's done really well. And since the show took off, we've seen a lot of other things similar to it that have started happening in radio around the country. There's still a hunger for that music.
Yes, there is.
Is one of the purposes of the show to help? You said the gatekeepers close a lot of doors. Is your show can be a vehicle for those who are really trying to break in and maybe haven't found the support they're looking for? Or?
Not really.
No?
I have some parameters on what I'm allowed to do, even though I can play old stuff, but they really frown on me doing anything current, because if I play a current song that somebody has on the charts, it can affect the chart system.
Oh, I see.
So I have to stay inside my parameters.
This is far more regimented than what any of us have ever dare dream. So there really are gatekeepers here.
Absolutely.
Kind of shaping what we listen to on the radio, what we buy in the stores.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I hope that somehow the gatekeepers wake up and we get back to your kind of music.
I hope so too, because I sure do love it. And I see a light at the end of the tunnel. There's so many really talented young people that are waving that traditional country flag. I feel a lot of it coming back.
That's awesome. Well, we need to take a break now, but I know when we come back, someone special is going to join us, right?
Absolutely.
Your wife is going to be here.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
We've been talking with Tracy Lawrence, and now the better half of Team Lawrence has joined us, Becca. Welcome, Becca.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So what attracted you to this old boy first?
Probably the first thing would be his eyes.
Is that right?
Yeah, those big blue eyes. That's probably the first thing that made me look.
Is
first.
that right?
Yeah.
Now, once you looked and you were drawn to the eyes and you talked to him, what about that?
He's just had the biggest heart.
Yeah.
We started out as just being really good friends. So I think
That's the best marriages.
Yeah.
They
Where'd you
come from
meet?
friendship.
Where'd you meet?
In my hometown, Beaumont, from some radio.
Beaumont, Texas. That's where my parents were born.
Really?
Were married, not born, but married. Yeah.
Oh, Beaumont,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a good time.
Never thought I would leave, but but my eyes were open. So
Yeah, that's right. Tracy, what did you like about her?
It was her eyes,
Yeah.
without a doubt, because they were like big doe eyes.
Yeah.
I could just, I really, and I don't think we broke eye contact the whole night. There was so much stuff going on around us, people coming up, asking for autographs, and all the chaos going on, and we were just locked with each other. It
Oh,
was
that's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
That's a great story.
yeah.
You know, the life that you live, it's not an easy one. All of the days on the road and people, like you were saying, what are some secrets you found for a healthy, happy marriage all these years?
We communicate a lot. We talk numerous times through the day. I think that's probably the most important thing. At least it has been for me.
Me too.
On the road, you make it a point to talk then, and never go a day.
All day.
All day.
No
long.
different. No different when he's on the road than when he is at home.
Yeah, it's constant communication, especially with cell phones nowadays.
Yeah, you have that option now.
Yeah.
With FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Or, you
I
know,
hate FaceTime, but
Is that right?
You usually don't want to see me on the telephone.
and if it's not an actual conversation, we're texting each other. There's so much stuff going on with the kids and life, and you know my tour schedule and family things that are going on all the time. So there's always a question that needs to be answered. There's something going on all the time.
Of course. Does faith play a role? I've heard that is a part of your experience, is your faith.
Absolutely. It's the core of everything.
Is that right?
You have to have a strong foundation in everything that you do, and without faith, there's nothing. So
Yeah.
Well, how does that look? How does that work in your relationship, Faith? Is it like texting a prayer to each other? I mean, how does faith, I know what faith is, but how does it work for you guys?
Sometimes it's a texting a prayer.
She has these Post-it notes all over the house with Bible scriptures and things all over it. I'm not as diligent a Bible studier as I need to be. It kind of comes in waves. I'll binge real hard for a while and then I fall out of it depending on the workload. I'm like normal people.
Yeah.
But I have a Bible study that I try to go to when I'm in town weekly. She has a women's group that she goes to. It's strange. I have a church that is my favorite. I'm real close friends with the pastor, but my kids don't like the youth group.
Oh, yeah.
So the kids and her go to a different church, but when I come home, we go to the church that I want. So we kind of shuffle back and forth
Okay, back
between
and forth
two. We
between
just
the-
have to try to find a
Hey, if
way
it
to
works,
make it work.
who cares? Yeah.
And it's not typical,
key.
but we feel like as long as our kids are getting the grace that they need and getting spiritually inspired and being put in a positive environment, then that's really the most important
Now,
thing.
you
we can
mentioned
do.
your kids. You got 2 daughters. That's something I have in common with you. I raised 2 daughters.
Yes.
How has that changed your relationship?
between the two of us.
Yeah.
Two of us.
Yeah. How does it affect you?
I don't. You know, when you have kids, it first of all, it makes you look at everything differently.
That's the truth.
So
Finances,
everything.
schedule.
Well, you know, I remember when we started our family, we had this whole grandioso thing. We knew exactly what we were going to do. We're going to do this. We're not going to do this. We had it all mapped out. Throw that out the window. Kids dictate what happens. And,
They do, don't they?
And it changes the way that you look at life. Your perspective on everything, and especially if you love your kids and you want to be good parents and you want to teach them wrong from right and you want to be good mentors and leaders and guide them down the right path. Sometimes the challenges can be there, but I felt like we've done really good with our
good
girls.
for you.
I think they're good kids and they're well grounded. They're not materialistic. They're very spirit filled. They believe in a higher power. I think they're real good kids. We're blessed.
I can say the same thing about my daughters, but I also have to tell you that parenting is the most guilt-producing thing I've ever done in my life. Is that true for you?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I feel better
There's
already.
probably not a day that I go to bed and think, wow, I did everything right today.
She will call me when I'm on the road and she'll say, I'm fixing to kill daughter number 3. She's not going to make it till you get home. You better have a talk with her. Because the little one is like a little carbon copy of me.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah.
And she prayed for that. That's what she prayed to God for. She wanted a
Be
little
careful what you
me.
pray for.
And she sure got her.
You said kids change your perspective. How did they change your perspective? How did your world change when you had kids?
You know, I had lived a very selfish, self-indulged world for a lot of years. I mean, I had chased my dream. It was all about me, 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 me. And then you come from a small town in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden you've got money and fame and attention and all that stuff, and you get very consumed with all that. Kids come along, and you realize it is not about you anymore.
No,
and,
it's
and
not.
they don't really care that your name's on a marquee or that
Does
you've
not
been
matter.
on
You're just
TV.
dad.
You're dad, and I've become very humbled by all that. And the great thing about having your own kids, as opposed to like marrying somebody that has teenagers already, we got a chance to
Mess up together.
grow through the process. We did. We got to
you've done
grow
that,
through
I mean.
this. Yeah, and I think we've gotten better as we've gone along. We didn't just get kind of thrown into it,
Yeah.
and have to deal with a teenager right off the bat. I'm thankful for that.
What type of dad is he?
Kids.
He's a fantastic father. He's very in tune to them, sometimes more than me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She's got the heavier hand.
Is
She
that
does.
right?
She's the disciplinarian. I kind of weave in and out because
You're gone so much.
I'm
yeah.
gone so much.
Yeah.
So she's the constant at home.
Someone's gotta do
She
that.
holds the rudder, and I just kind of flutter in and out. I'm like a bird landing
Yeah.
on the mast every now and then. I'll go get some food, come to the house.
Yeah.
I've heard that your kids are homeschooled. You do the homeschooling?
I do. We are. We've been homeschooling for 6 years.
Wow.
6.
So yeah.
What's that like?
It's hard. It's hard. It's very challenging. If anybody says homeschooling is easy, it's not easy. But at the end of the day, I think we are, our kids are a product of what we want them to be, or what they are going to strive to be better when they're older. It is a full-time job,
Yeah, it is.
but you know what? I would not trade it for anything.
That's
Is that
why we
right?
take lots of vacations.
Yeah.
We do. That's one
That's
thing we
good.
do every year. We take a mom and dad trip, and that makes a
Good
big
for you.
difference.
Good for you.
You always have to take care of you first. So.
Now that the girls are teenagers, is it really changed? Do you have new challenges now because of that? Boys,
In
have they
today's
entered into
society,
it?
a little bit off and on, but we've not had
Good for
any
you.
big
Not yet.
situations yet.
Yeah. Well, that's frightening. Here's a little advice to you from one dad to another. Never smile at a teenage boy. Don't give him any hope, brother.
That's good advice.
Don't
Thank you
give
for
him
that.
any hope. Just
You're
scour
not,
at them.
not
you
my
know?
friend. I don't want to know you.
That's right.
I'm gonna and call them by the wrong name.
Yeah,
often.
yeah.
That's probably a good
Yeah,
thing
and when
too.
they tell you the right name, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter.
That's some really good
Yeah,
advice.
it's just one dad to another. Just never smile at those boys, man. You're the gatekeepers.
That's right.
It really
Yeah,
is.
that's right. You are the gatekeeper. On that note, we're going to take a break, okay? And we'll be right back after this.
Healers from God, a devotional filled with practical yet inspirational teachings and real-life experiences with real-world application which will encourage the reader. Order your copy today at Amazon.com or motivatedbylove.org.
Scripture therapy offers solutions to challenges individuals face every day. Scripture therapy combines faith, psychology, and life experiences to reach those seeking more in their daily walk with God. The authors, Lester and Roxanne Tracey, have blended their skills to produce a powerful book that has the potential of helping people from all kinds of backgrounds and systems of belief. The Traceys are a dynamic duo. It is a must-read for anyone who wants to enhance their spirituality and improve their happiness quotient on day one. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and www.scripturetherapycenter.com.
We're having fun with Tracy and Becca Lawrence. Now, you guys have found a way to give back to the community. Talk to me about the annual turkey fry.
It's
Becca.
probably my favorite part of the year.
Yeah.
We run and run and run all year long, and we always feel like we are given so much all year. So it's my favorite time, but then again, it almost makes me kind of sad because it's like, okay, now it's just this one time a year we give back. So it's a special time of the year, but
Yeah.
I just wish it was probably more
Even more than what
frequent.
it was.
Yeah.
And we talk about that every year about doing more things more frequently spread out through the year. It's just life gets in the way. There's just so much stuff going on, and we're on the go all the time.
Yeah.
How did it start?
You know, I had for several years, I would get up in the morning on Thanksgiving morning and cook turkeys for different people on the street. It was just as easy if I wanted to do, if there was 3 or 4 elderly people at church that wanted a fried turkey, and it was easier for me to do several of them instead of one person that didn't actually know how.
Okay.
So I would just pick their turkeys up and I would come cook turkeys. So several guys from the church had gotten together and we were doing turkeys one Thanksgiving morning. I was like, this would really be a good thing to do for the mission. I'd wanted to do something for the community for a while. And we talked to them, and the next year we started putting pieces in place. We started off with a handful of fryers, borrowed propane tanks from the church. Yeah. We all got together and we just set up, and it was basically a tailgate party in the parking lot of the rescue mission. And from there, it has turned into this massive undertaking. We cook about 600 turkeys in one day. And it basically feeds the men's mission, the women's mission, several outreach programs. We take the first 100 that we cooked on that Tuesday morning, and then Becca will go to the women's mission. They half the turkeys, they do sides, we box them up for families of 4, and then Wednesday we go to Wilson County and deliver them with our families and through a church program there, and we deliver them around and take them to the government housing projects and different things. Plus there's other outreach programs in Nashville that do get some of the food as well.
Has this grown beyond Nashville?
Has grown beyond Nashville. Dallas, this will be Dallas's second year with their rescue mission, doing Mission Possible. Louisville will be starting their program this year. I actually went to their facility last year and visited their rescue mission, and they came down and participated in the turkey fry for Thanksgiving last year. So it would be great to see this thing grow and become more of a national thing. There's so much need out there.
There's huge need, but it's interesting how something, some little spark someplace catches fire, and then you've changed lives.
The one thing that I'm adamant about holding on to as we watch this thing grow, we've had companies try to come in that have the facilities to cook 75, 100 turkeys at a time. The big giant vats, they can fire them up and cook them, be done. You're in and out in a couple of hours. There's something about the human element that is the charm of what this is about. We spend all day there. I'm one of the first ones there in the morning. I talk with the men and the people that are there at the mission. I deal with the staff. I deal with the fans and the people that are coming through. It's a fellowship. It's a sharing. It's patient. It's calm. There's no rush to get done. And I think that is what makes it so special and so unique. We're not just trying to rush through it to get done.
Both of you light up when you talk about this. I mean, you really light up over this. This is significant to you.
It's important. It's been a big part of our life. We've had some personal issues with people that we care about that have been through that we struggle with still to this day. And we all have our prejudices. I don't care what anybody says. This is not politically incorrect or anything. But we all know that when you see that person panhandling on the side of the road, that you have a preconceived notion about what they're there. Get a job. You look young enough to build. There's a lot of people that are there for different reasons. Some of it's addiction. Some of it's mental health. Some of it is post-traumatic stress. Some of it, maybe their wife got cancer and they didn't have insurance and they lost everything.
That's more than you know.
Their financial situations. And I've learned that when I go into that situation, take your personal opinions aside and help your fellow man. And leave the rest of it out of the equation.
We've got about a minute left in this segment. You did a Christmas project recently, is that right?
Several years ago.
Tell me about that.
Called The Rock. It was a spirit-based album. I didn't really get heavy into gospel text or any of that. It was just uplifting and positive message songs, and it was something that I was very happy. It came at the right time in my life. I was really proud of it. It's probably one of my favorite projects that I've ever done.
What inspired you to release that album?
I felt like I needed it at that particular time. It was something that I was called to do.
And what's the response been to that album?
Oh, it was huge. And I still, to this day, a lot of my diehard fans, when they meet me or come to shows, they say that it's their favorite project that
That's
they've ever
the project
had.
that means the most.
Absolutely.
We come back to that issue of faith for you guys. It's in the turkey fry. It's in this project with the Christmas album. And you still light up with it. I love that about you. We're going to take a break on that note, and we'll be back with a final word right after this.
The Faith Unveiled Network was birthed out of a need to give exposure to unknown or hidden people that possess God's gifts and talents. There are preachers, teachers, musicians, clothing designers, artists, cooks, and many others that God has given extraordinary talents to. God is raising up these people in His kingdom that will glorify Him. Our goal is to bring these talents to your mobile devices, computers in your home and office, or on the go. With today's technology, these gifts and talents can be shared with you 24/7. Broadcasters that will bless your heart and your life. Currently, the Faith Unveiled Network shares these talents in the form of video and podcasting services. As the network grows, it will strive to move into other medias such as cable TV, satellite TV, and local TV. The goal is to enhance the experience of the network's TV shows through networking resources and communication activities that become available. The ultimate goal of the network is to build and bring unity to the kingdom of God through its broadcasters via the internet, social media, mobile apps, and other available resources. By facilitating the use of the gifts of the Spirit, according to 1 Corinthians 12, 4 through 11, on a global level, each broadcaster brings their own gifts and treasured talents. Enjoy each moment, each broadcaster's TV show, and let them and us hear from you. We'd love to know that you're watching their programs and being blessed by their God-given gifts. Thank you for watching FUN, the Faith Unveiled Network. Thank you for watching FUN, the Faith Unveiled Network.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Tracy and Becca Lawrence have been wonderful today, and it's been great to be with you. Becca, give me a final word.
I think probably as we talk through everything, the most important thing in a relationship, in raising kids, is following your faith. You know, that is the core of everything. If you have a strong foundation, you can probably withstand some of the hardest troubles. Not to say it's going to be easy, because they usually aren't. But with faith, you just know that whatever happens, it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
It's sort of your rock now, your landing place, your true north, so to speak, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We're big fans. We love you, and we're so glad you took the time out of your day to do this.
Thank you.
And we thank you for being here as well. We look forward to seeing you again next time. But until then, you take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
To get a copy of today's offer, please call 888-940-0062 and be sure to visit our website at lifestyle.org.